Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. We have a lot of content to get to today, and we'll probably have content over the weekend as well because it is a busy time in Bachelor Nation with all alumni and contestants from the last season and previous seasons chiming in on the Tuesday night finale of The Bachelorette. I described it this way. It was like watching a boring baseball game for 8 innings, but in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs, Jenn reveals that Devin followed Maria and the whole place went crazy. And then Sam McKinney says, "I'm vindicated, baby." And then some people didn't really like that. The idea that he and others have said, look, we said this all along. Devin's a weird dude, you know? We saw that from Aaron Erb. He kind of shared a statement. We shared that for you yesterday. But Sam defending Jenn is interesting after Jenn came after Sam. So we're going to break it all down. I think it's a really good PR move, whether it's real or not. I think it's a smart move. I believe it for Sam to say, look, regardless of what Jenn thinks of me, she thinks I'm a bad guy. She deserves better than this. You know what I mean? So anyhow, we're going to get into this right now. Follow me right now on the podcast, the Rush Hour podcast, if you want morning and afternoon content. I give you the best I can find on the internet, pop culture, entertainment news, viral TikTok videos, a little politics. I give it all to you right there. And you can just scan that code with your phone if you want to join. We have probably our one of our best weeks ever this week as far as downloads and streams are concerned. So thank you guys all so much. All right, so we'll get into what Sam had to say. Last week, he was on the hot seat with Men Tell All, where essentially he, and again, correct me if I'm wrong. I know you will. He took the hot seat. All the other guys told him why he was a bad guy. And he said, you know what? I got work to do. Thank you. He basically just said they all like, thank you. May I have another? He took his paddling. And then Jenn came out and was like, you know, I don't believe you, but if you're really this way, I want you to know you need to do better or else I feel bad for the next lady who's going to date you. I mean, that's what Jenn said, right? It was rough. And people said, no, she's just sharing her mind. And my thought was, well, that's good and all, but I think there's 2 ways you can go. You can share your mind and slam somebody, rightful or not, it's going to come off a certain way. Trust me, I know. I love a good slam. You know what I mean? And then the other thing is you could say, look, we had our disagreements. It didn't work out. I do wish you the best. I hope you can, whatever. And she could have taken that route. And she chose the slam route. She's allowed to do that. She was probably heated. She probably had a lot she wanted to get off her chest. Interesting, though, and I don't know, maybe he wasn't allowed to have edibles while he was on the show. Maybe he's mellowed out a little bit, keeping the main thing. But interesting, though, that Sam McKinney here gives a very graceful and very humble statement here. Here's what he had to say. I think the last line of this Instagram reel is like chef's kiss. So good. It felt off the cuff, but if it wasn't, he really nails what he's about to say. Hold on. Try that again.
Okay, so obviously I watched the finale of The Bachelorette last night, and that was brutal. I know Jenn and I definitely have our differences, definitely have different viewpoints of each other, and putting all of that aside, I hated to watch her go through that because once upon a time, I cared very, very deeply about her. And it's tough to listen to the person that you see yourself with forever say all the things that you need to hear and you want to hear, and then that moment gets there and they don't show up. This is a scar of mine and why I have a hard time really expressing my true feelings and emotions through words, because I've walked through enough life to where they haven't added up from the other person. And that's tough. And I hate that Jenn had to go through that last night. And I hope that she can heal from all of this and truly know that there is somebody out there that will show her exactly what she needs, not just say all the right things on paper. And I wish her the very, very best because she is a special girl. Outside of all of the bullshit that everybody might think that I've said or my family has said, she is a special girl. And to Devin, kind of like one of your last captions, man, the good guys always win. And that might not be me, but it's sure as hell not you either.
Damn, I'm sorry. Even if he wrote this and it was a performance arts piece and he doesn't mean any of it, look, one of 2 things are true about Sam. He's either more genuine down to earth than we saw, or he's a hell of a good liar, And it could be that, either, or a little bit of both, really. It could be a little bit of both. Hashtag standing on business. Now, I'm an old millennial. I don't know what any of these words mean. When I grew up, we weren't allowed to wear cool chain necklaces. The kids are bringing puka shells back, whatever. But either way, and some people said, "Oh, this is just you trying to, siphon off some." There'll always be the negative people. He did post though the main thing 24. I have no idea what this means. I have not looked at it. What do you think is the main thing? And then people are commenting, is it going to be a podcast, alcohol brand? And by the way, he is under contract, so my guess is whatever he's doing, it would have to be approved from the show. But anyway, I'm all for it. So it says September 13th, Heartbreak 2024. We'll have to see what it is. And by the way, even Thomas stuck up for Sam. I don't know if it's in the comment sections here or whatnot, but Thomas stuck up for Sam. And it appears that they have a good little friendship brewing. So you just never know what you're going to get from this show. You never know what kind of relationships are made from all the time they spend together. This cast of guys, all went through something that no one else has been through. They have a unique experience on that season. They stuck up for each other. They battled each other. They played stupid games together, and they're not all perfect. Now, you might say, Dave, you're such a dupe to believe anything Sam says. Listen, hurt people, right? And Sam, I think, talks about how he was engaged, right? And she didn't give him the love he needed, and she cheated on him and this and that, right? So we see the scar tissue kind of on his sleeve, right? He tells us. And what's so hard, I feel like, in this world is to have empathy for others, especially if you believe that person might be, I don't know, in a place of privilege. And the privilege I would give to Sam is that he's a good-looking dude. He's a good-looking dude. It's like, how can a good-looking dude be heartbroken? He was a D-bag on the season. And it's like, well, if he was the star of the show, more time would have been invested in his storyline and more empathy would be built. There's a reason why when Clayton Echard became the Bachelor, the first episode, they introduced his family. They showed a little bit about his life. In movies, they call this the save the cat moment, where they have the protagonist in a movie do something sometimes very simple to get the audience to root for them, like literally saving a cat. Oh, there's a cat up in the tree. I better go save it. Oh, we like this guy. He saves cats. You know what I mean? We don't get that from the contestants. Now, you guys, I don't know, might appreciate or not appreciate when I break this down sort of in filmmaking terms, but as an audience, regardless of whether this is quote unquote real TV, reality, or scripted or whatever, we have to look at these characters and we get a snap judgment of who they are. And I'm sorry, the character that you see, the guy who's looks like the main thing's the main thing, is not the full story of who Sam is. And that's not me doing a press piece on him. And you're not going to like what I have to say. But you could say the same exact things for Devin, that he's not as bad as his worst day, certainly not as good as his best day. He's not what they made him up to be as this awesome dude, and he's not the worst guy out there either. You might disagree that. No, oh my gosh, he's irredeemable. Okay, sure. Well, empathy happens and grace happens when it's hard. It's easy to have grace for Jenn. She went through a tough situation. That's the easy route to take. We can all have grace for her, but then you look at someone like Devin or even Sam and you go, oh, come on, he's got to be better than just the guy that they slammed at the end of the season, right? So here he is. I'm not going to play the audio, but it looks like he had a nice little get-together. I think we can all agree, thank God it's over, he said. What I thought was just a family dinner last weekend turned into an absolute surprise with all my best friends walking through the door. Thankful is an understatement. Watch what I'm about to play. I'm assuming this was organized after his sort of rough episode on Men Tell All. Don't forget, he's a bleeding human being like the rest of us. So there they are. Let's turn this audio down. And every friend shows up with a rose. I'm sorry. This is really kind to see humanity. A guy that either got it bad at it because he was a bad guy on the show, was misunderstood, wasn't liked, whatever it was, whatever the case may be from what we saw from reality. Here is a group of people all came by with a rose to say, hey, Sam, you got a friend in me. I'm sorry. I like seeing stuff like that. And the show doesn't always get to highlight it. I get it. The show doesn't get to share the stories of every 30 different guys. I understand. Here's what Jonathan had to say about his experience on the show. I have never wanted to say anything more. And by the way, after Jonathan, I'm going to share what Jenn had to say. I am so incredibly honored to have been a part of Jenn's journey. She has been an inspiration to women everywhere, and I'm so proud of the way she carried herself throughout the process. She experienced a situation on a national scale that I would never want to see someone go through. But this woman walked on stage with her head held high and handled herself with so much class and beauty that my jaw is on the floor. Jenn, from me, my family, and anyone that has had the absolute privilege of meeting you, you're an incredible woman, and we are so proud of your journey. I'll be cheering you on as you shake it down on Dancing with the Stars and all the success after. Don't forget who your first patient was. I know we talked about it a little bit already, but I'm stoked to have you here in LA for a little. I know we'll have some time to make some really awesome memories. For me, and I hope everyone reading this hears me, go show this woman some love and give her your support. She just put her heart on the line for all of you to see and absolutely killed it. I'm so sorry that someone had the opportunity to take even a little of the positivity of this experience away from you. You deserve the world, Jenn. There it is. And, you know, whether Jonathan's shooting her shot or not, but he says he's going to have time to see her in LA. So who knows? I mean, maybe there will be something there, you know, or maybe they're just friends. The fact that she, you know, did have a relationship building with him, but it sort of wasn't all there at the time. That could be a positive, to be quite honest, because a great relationship is built on friendship. My wife and I were friends before we dated. And you could look at it as we spent months really getting to know each other for who we were before we tried to impress each other with who we wanted the other person to think we could be. Does that make sense? So I'm rooting for them if that's what they end up doing. Jenn might just want to move on from all of this. We'll have to see. Here's what Jenn had to say. Wow. I don't even know where to start. I came into this journey searching for my one true love and unexpectedly finding infinite love from Bachelor Nation and beyond. It's been a roller coaster of emotions these past couple of months. I truly couldn't have done it without you all. For everyone who saw themselves in me, whether it was past you or present you or future you, we are all trying our best to be the best versions of ourselves. We are not defined by one moment, our circumstance, one experience, one mistake, or one heartbreak. We are defined by how we actively choose to grow from it. Boy, I'm liking this like metaphysical Jenn. This is my favorite version of her. Thank you for opening your hearts to my story. Being the first Asian American bachelorette has been a healing experience for me. And I couldn't be happier to watch my community come alive. No matter where you are in your search for your identity, please remember you are worthy and you are exactly who you needed to be. I'm not kidding when I say this. People like to look into the negative and they think that because I do my job as a commentator that I've got any beef with Jenn. I really like her, and I actually think I see Jenn and I see more of like her spirituality as kind of how I am, which again, that's just how I feel when I see what she's writing about giving people grace and empathy and things like that. I go, wow, yeah, that's kind of what I always say. Just try to be the best version of yourself. Try to be better today than yesterday. Everyone's trying the best with the information they have. Although the love story didn't end the way I had hoped, what you guys have seen is a snippet of our love story and two real people navigating a complicated situation. My heart is heavy grieving, but I have to make room for forgiveness and keep the main thing, which is ultimately my heart. While emotions were high on stage, at the end of the day, I will always have love for the person I fell in love with, and I am choosing to wish him the best in this journey of life and will always root for him. Wow. I want to acknowledge the heartbreak felt from around the world as it's such a universal experience. To all the lover girls and boys out there, our greatest gift in life is how big our hearts are. It is easier to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. Lastly, I am still healing. It's been difficult processing the past few months, and it will continue to be difficult for me to fully understand my own heart at this moment. However, what I do know is that I am worthy of an unconditional and unwavering love whenever that love may come. XOXO Jenn. Now, Jesse Palmer, who has been criticized, had this to say. criticized because he kind of let her story play out. I don't think Jesse did anything wrong. He's doing his job. You showed the world what a strong and powerful woman looks like. Never afraid to speak your mind. Never afraid to go for what you want. Good things happen to good people. I can't wait to see what's next for you. Unbelievable here. Now, I actually did not have this prepared, but I'm starting a working theory that Jenn, now let me go to Extra TV. Now just watch me right here. On Extra TV, I shared this on the Morning Rush Hour podcast, but I don't have it prepared here. But Jenn actually did an interview, and I'm telling you guys, Jenn left something unsaid here, where they asked her if she had spoken to Devin since after the show aired. And she looked at her partner, Pasha, and I think she lied to the camera. And again, by all means, I love the idea that she's not telling everyone everything, but maybe they've resolved things. Here's what she said.
Rest of us are shook. Oh my gosh, I think I'm still processing it all. I don't really know. I went on stage and now I had 45 minutes to get on a flight and now I'm in New York, so I haven't really processed it all yet, but right now I'm just feeling excited and happy.
Are you as shocked as the rest of us?
No, I think I was, he showed up exactly who I thought he was going to show up as. That's the version of himself that he's been showing for the past month. And so, and that's what it was. But obviously I knew it was going to be a hard night for me to finally process it all with the rest of the world,
Amazing. Have you spoken to him since?
Right here.
No.
And my last question.
Let's see, look at that. No. And then she winks. What does that mean? What does that mean? So, hey, hopefully, after this interview came out, we saw her speech. She said I think she said she loved him, right? And she wishes the best for him. So that's the level. And by the way, of course, you're going to see someone, you're going to want to slam them. I don't blame her for the way she handled the situation. I don't blame her at all. What I do like to point out is that Jenn leads with grace. And I think we can all learn from that. I think in the comment section, we can all learn from that. Jenn isn't trying to put gasoline on the fire when it comes to Devin. Honestly, maybe the DMs are dirtier than we think and they just want to move on from them. Maybe it's one of those mad situations, mutually assured destruction. We don't know. But what I can say is I'm really proud to see how Jenn's handling all of this. All right, I got a lot more content coming your way. I'm live on Patreon right now, patreon.com/Dave Neal, and I will be here for the afternoon rush hour. If you're like, oh, Dave, I can't get enough of your chirpy voice, well, scan that QR code and you can listen for free to all of our episodes twice daily of the Rush Hour podcast. We'll be back with more right after this.